We are standing in Axe House, where Vikings would have been able to practice their axe throwing, which these weapons would have been used in battle, as they were so sharp they could cut through skin and bone with one stroke. So Vikings were very interested in having beautiful blonde hair. They dye their hair with a lye in their soap, bleaching the colour out of it. Now, this is very important because if you have those lovely locks that are blonde, you're most likely to be a favourite among the Vikings. So we are standing in front of the townhouse with some olas in the background. What we think is maybe that this hotel sits on top of a Viking graveyard. So you are in fact sleeping with the Vikings here. We're standing in front of the brewery tap, which has a very similar craft beer way of making alcohol, which is very similar to the Vikings, where they brew on a small scale for women, mostly brewing at home in the house. And then for celebrations they have a honey-based wine called mead, which was used only for celebrations such as victories or midwinter feasting.
You'll find the brewery tap used to be called Gamel House, named after the Old Norse word Gamel, meaning old. By the time of the Doomsday Book, 25% of all Scandinavians are working as moneyers within the historic city of Chester, the Gamel family being one of them, we believe. We Vikings believe that the more you drink, the closer you are with the gods. In your inebriated state, the gods themselves will hear you, which means drinking is actually a good thing.
Here we are next to the beautiful River Dee. This river is very significant for the Vikings because first and foremost they were a seafaring group of people. So they would have both raiding ships and trade ships that would stretch from Scandinavia all the way to America, and as far as we can tell, they have made it as far as China with their trade. So having Chester's River Dee right here leading up to the city makes it the perfect place for the Vikings to sail straight up and essentially park their boats and go straight inside. So we're in the Roman amphitheatre, and you might think nothing happened here during the Viking era, but it's wrong. We used to leave our animals here in the winter as a paddock. Now this is important because once Chester was under siege during Viking occupation, and we were forced to eat our animals here in order to survive. We are in front of O'Hare's jewellery shop. Now the Vikings were very interested in particularly silver. They didn't care much for gold or platinum, but silver was worth its weight in gold, so to speak. So we're standing in front of Chester Boutique. The Vikings would have worn expensively looking and bright colours such as blues and yellows and reds and blacks that are found in naturally occurring plants and animals that would be used to dye clothes. They'd have fancy ways of weaving fabric, which is how you could tell the upper class from the lower class. We are standing outside of Moore's A Go-Go restaurant and bar. This would be a fantastic place for a Viking to stop and have something to eat because they're very interested in shellfish.
We Vikings like our fish so much we actually fish red salmon over in the River Dee. We are probably the reason why mussels are so expensive today. We nearly fished them to extinction.